Episode 18 of the Mindset Reflexology show. It's Wednesday, the 18th of May. We're having some late autumn sunshine, as you can see through my window down here in the southern hemisphere. I'm beaming out from a beautiful little gold rush town called Ballarat, where I live, which is west of Melbourne in southeast Australia. Wherever you may be in the world, I hope you're well. Today's episode 18, emotional control, is not the same as emotional mastery. This one really cuts deep to the awareness and understanding that's necessary to grow as a person and therefore grow as a trader, evolve as a person and evolve as a trader. People talk about emotional self-mastery as if it were emotional control, like you could take an emotion and push it around and you could push it away so you're not having to feel that emotion. Hello, Lygia, how are you? I'm terrific. I hope you're well also. Thanks for tuning in. That's the typical way that we're taught to manage emotions until you get to trading. And suddenly trading presents in a completely different way for us to try and deal with. Now, this emotional animal that we are, us, at first, we are an emotional being who rationalizes. That's what we sense about ourselves. We're not a rational being who has some deviation with emotions. So the key is that emotions are not by any stretch of the imagination's feelings, right? You know, that psychological thing. I feel the emotion, I feel the fear, I feel the anger, I feel the urgency, I feel all of that. Well, that's only one tiny little speck of an emotion. So an emotion from a neurobiological standpoint is better understood as a BAP, a biological action potential. Now, if this has caused any confusion, I've spoken about BAPs before. What a biological action potential is, it is a coordinating activity, an action between the environment, and in trading, that would be the market, and the organism, that would be the trader. And these things happen spontaneously. So that's what we call in neurobiology a biological action potential. Most of the primitive emotions that are deeply concerning in training don't even work in the thinking brain. They bypass it totally. So they see this urgency, they see the need to control outcome, and they see that they're powerless. They see that they're not in control, and suddenly it's no longer a thinking thing. It's at that moment right there, something completely different. It's reactive. The circuits going through the thinking brain are simply left out of the equation. Now, you would likely experience that as going a bit nuts, going tilt, okay? Like when the trade goes against you, or you've missed so many trades, or you're getting into trades, you jump into them too early, all that sort of stuff. Tilt, right? Like in the old pinball games, the thing just goes offline. Now, you're actually experiencing an emotion, but you don't know much of that emotion. You're still equating it with a feeling. A feeling, as I said, is just one small component of an emotion. So the feeling literally is the chemistry of the emotion in the body that you're feeling. But remember, when you feel that emotion, it's already hijacked you. You've actually got to start a lot earlier. You've got to start at this one point in an emotion called emotional arousal. So when there is a change in the status of that environment, when the trade goes against you, for example, there is automatically an emotion that's going to arise. And when it rises, it starts building strength. It starts getting ready for action, fight, flight kind of stuff. Okay, it starts revving up your emotional arousal. Then you do feel that feeling because it's cranking up, and a switch is turned on. Right there, that's the big one. That switch gets turned on. And it's no longer revving up at that stage. It's actually pulsing through your bloodstream and your brain, altering the way you perceive. Okay? Now, just want to talk a little bit about some of the work I do. And I often work with a heart rate monitor and an app to be able to establish a range of really competent training when it comes to emotional arousal. And I had a guy not that long ago, he said to me, Ash, it's really amazing. I was at one heart rate and I perceived the market and the charts completely differently at this level. I understood them, I was on time. He was really switched on, and it jumped 5 beats per minute. And suddenly, this is when his arousal kicked in, when the market's getting close to a trade being triggered. His heartbeat jumped 5 beats a minute, and suddenly he tells me that he perceived a completely different chart. So that emotion had taken over. It had become a feeling. It's pulsing through him. Now, suddenly there's motivation to do something. That emotion is telling you to do something. No, don't take that loss. No, fight back. Oh my God. That is what the emotion is motivating you to do. Fight or flight or freeze is the other one. What we want, though, is to approach with curiosity. That is the antidote to fight flight, is approach with curiosity. Being able to be interested in what's going on, but not sucked into it. Now, we also have what you might want to call genetic predisposition. Some people are just nervous, more nervous than others. And some people are more risk-taking than others, okay? That's also just part of it. And the last part is what I would call meaning or belief, okay? That's very different than what you hear about how to train your subconscious. In reality, what you're doing is your limbic system, that emotional brain is amoral. What it's doing is it's trying to figure out a way for you, the trader, the organism in this environment, to survive in the moment. And it will come to a solution if it works. Like, for example, getting out of the trade too early. And you go, I'm out of that. And then only later do you go, what was I doing? Oh my God, I missed the whole run. Why did I do that? Well, that's because your emotional brain got you out of trouble by motivating you to jump out of the way, right? And in that moment, you felt relieved. But later, you questioned your sanity. Why did I do that? That's the whole point. The emotional brain doesn't care. The thinking brain didn't have a thing to do with it. So what we're looking to do is to go, you're telling me that the level of belief, those beliefs that are created inside me, that are wired into the pattern of my circuitry, okay? And I promise you, listeners, that a few mantras and having a big smile on your face and saying, I'm a disciplined trader, is not going to work, right? Hello, Stephen. Yes, this is being recorded. I've got a question here. I'll pop that on the screen, Stephen. That's a good question. Thank you. Every episode is also streamed live to YouTube and sits over there as a permanent recording. My YouTube channel is called Trading Psychology and Mindset. So if you go to YouTube and search Trading Psychology and Mindset, you'll find my channel. And every episode's over there, Stephen. Thanks for asking the question. So these beliefs get wired into the circuitry. And as I've said, a few affirmations, positive mantras, and smiling and looking in the mirror and telling yourself you're a disciplined trader ain't going to work. You're not going to train your subconscious, your emotional brain, with a few mantras and some words and affirmations, okay? You can't control your emotions. It will not change until it recognizes that the old organization of belief is no longer working effectively for the organism. Understand that? You will not change your beliefs until there is a deep recognition that what had been happening no longer works effectively for the organism. Now, you can huff and puff and you can do all that sort of stuff. You can talk the positive energy and you can just program all you want. But under stress, which is trading, the most compressed, stressful thing you can just about do, all of that falls apart. That's why you do all that positive thinking and you're like, yes, I'm going to train that subconscious of mine. that's not successful in trading. It feels good, right? It feels good that you're doing this. And I get that, right? Yeah, you get all pumped up, and being pumped up actually is very dangerous in trading. Feeling good in trading is not allowed. Remember that. If you feel good trading, something's wrong. What you're looking to do is you're looking to sit there and produce discipline. Thanks, Stephen. I'll just jump in again. Yeah, Gary Frey is a fantastic guy. Highly respect him. So the fact that Gary's recommended you come and watch means a lot to me. Thanks, Stephen, for mentioning that. And kudos and hello to Gary when you see him. So, as I said, feeling good is not allowed. You've got to be able to produce discipline and impartiality. Now, whether you win or lose really doesn't matter at that moment. What matters is how you perform. What mind do you bring to meet the challenges of trading? How well have you learnt to engage, recognize and engage and master your emotions, not control them? Now, that's the deal, because if you have an edge in your trading system and you have your performance mind really linked together, then that edge is going to drive your ability to pull more capital out of the markets than you're leaving in or giving back. It's not about winning or losing. That's emotional mastery. That's emotional self-mastery. I hope that is clear. That's the difference between emotional mastery and trying to control emotions. Okay? And so what you're doing here is you're realizing that in order to get to that level, you have to tap into your limbic beliefs, your deeply held beliefs. Your implicit beliefs are what are also known as, learnings that get coded deeply into our circuitry, right? If you're not a human with that brain, you don't call them beliefs, you call them learnings, okay? So you're looking at it, and what you're looking to do is not all the feeling good stuff. You're looking for a place you don't want to go. The place you want to go is where the magic is. That's where you go in and find the age-old problems, for the deep sense of insecurity, of not mattering, of unworthiness, of winning big money, and just that sense of, the whole 9 yards of not mattering. That is one of those deeply held limiting limbic beliefs that get uncovered in trading. And then at a certain level, if I make a bunch of money, then I'll matter. You'd be amazed how often I come across this in coaching traders, and even my own journey. I think for so many of us, the link between mattering and a sense of power comes from making money, and trading appeals as a solution to feed that need. That is deadly dangerous in trading, right? Making money, linking making to money to mattering has got to be broken and reshaped. And what you realize is that these are beliefs, okay? These are the beliefs that your limbic system built, and it doesn't know about money, right? Your limbic system doesn't know about money, of course. It doesn't know about computers. Money becomes a representation of your power in the world to stay alive, to prosper. Money becomes your net worth, not just your self-worth. So if you make money, you have a sense of well-being, and that's only natural, right? It's also about your competency, okay? But even more than that, it triggers because of the scarcity that says, look, my gosh, what I have is going to be taken away from me. There's a limbic belief right there, that what I have is going to be taken away from me. We can all resonate with that to a certain level. That's the limbic limiting belief of scarcity. And what you're doing is you're seeing it organized around these beliefs that get triggered under the stress of trading. And the last one I really look at in this sort of field is powerlessness. When you experience that powerlessness, like a trade goes against you and you just go tilt, as I said, and all sorts of things, and you're looking at is really these deep-seated emotions that are built around money as survival, not accumulation. I hope you understand the distinction. I feel good, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the way we need to think in trading. Money becomes a representation of caveman's ability to survive. It's the most powerful human trait, is this need to survive, called our survival instinct. I've spoken about this a lot in other shows, and human beings have it almost hardwired into us that the link between money and survival is very powerful. And when it comes to trading, it gets flushed to the surface very quickly and drives all of these poor decision making. Okay. It does, as I said, your emotional brain doesn't know about money. It doesn't know about greenbacks. It doesn't know about, other things. It knows about survival. That's it. It is developed to keep you alive in the moment. So we put money up, and that's what it begins to represent. Your beliefs about money and what it will do for you is incredibly powerful. So in closing on this subject, let me give you a powerful belief. And I'll draw from one of the greater entrepreneurs of all time, a chap by the name of Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson, I'm sure you've all heard of him. He made the following statement about money. And what he said was this: money is for making things happen. Simple. Money is for making things happen. Now, what I want you to hear in that is it wasn't about his power. It wasn't about his safety, okay? It wasn't about prestige. No, it was about making the deal happen. So it's a completely different conversation about money. Yes, Lygia, money does not measure our worth. And as obvious as that sounds, deep down in our limbic beliefs, there's a very powerful connection between money and survival. This is the thing we've got to look at and what I'm touching on here. So these are old beliefs. These are emotional beliefs that you're going to have to master, right? And that's where our emotions come from, our beliefs, right? So, in order to master our emotions, we need to look at our beliefs. So they're the emotional beliefs that you're going to have to master, as I said, and they're not going to, change when you go to see things like The Secret and these various things that have popped up in modern culture and society around laws of attraction and secrets and so forth. They have some threads of truth through them, but it's really in your limbic beliefs and the emotions that get produced in order to keep you alive that drive everything. And it seems so easy, right? Yeah, it's not, right? In trading, you're faced with the reality, and this is what I love about trading. You're faced with the reality of your truth meter, which is your trading account balance. This is where you can't just feel good and it seems true. You have to deal with the darkness within you. You have to deal with the darkness within you to master trading, and out of that darkness comes great light. When you start mastering that deep part of you that you don't want to see and that's been revealed in your trading, that's when you begin to see, oh, this is emotional self-mastery, not control, right? I can design the belief system if I'm willing to do the work and dig, right? That arises when I intersect with uncertainty, right? So instead of fight, flight, you'll have approach, where you approach it and you recognize that you're not running for your life. You're not fighting for your life. There's no need to trigger to fight, flight. What you're doing is you're approaching with curiosity and recognizing that if you follow your rules, if you follow the performance of your rules, then what happens is your greater chance, your probability of winning is there. And that's the probability mind that we're talking about. And that brain, that primitive brain, begins to adapt to that slowly but surely. Your primitive brain starts to recognize and accept, here is a better way to deal with uncertainty in the moment and keep you alive. That's emotional mastery. That's where the magic is, friends. So that's probably where I'll sign off on this discussion. If you want to learn more and you want to watch more As I said, to Stephen's question earlier, I have a website, the Mindset Fit Method. The best place to go is to follow on LinkedIn or to go and subscribe on the YouTube channel, Trading Psychology and Mindset. Watch all of these videos. And I have a big belief that you really need to watch something 3 times in order for the message to get through. So go and watch them over and over again and get out of them what you need to get out of them, right? And if you've had enough of the positive self-talk and the affirmations and wondering why that's not working, and you've decided you really want to look at building a mind that can engage uncertainty successfully, that's where I can help, and that's where consistent profitability comes from. Okay, so I wish you well. Thank you so much for coming. Lygia, thank you for your kind words. I'll just put that comment on the screen. I really, really appreciate it. And as is often remarked upon, a lot of the pieces of the puzzle of trading mastery, which are linked inextricably to self-mastery, apply across pretty much every other aspect of life. And this is often why people are so passionately in love with trading, because it represents everything that goes on in life that comes from self-mastery, right? And this is where the power is. So as I said, if you want to go further, you want to know more about this, you can hit me up anytime. Check out my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a terrific day, evening, morning, wherever you may be in the world, whether you're a trader that's been around for a while, a new trader, an aspiring trader, or you're just curious. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week. I will see you on episode 19 next week.